SB19 Pablo's genius exposed, the mind behind SB19's hits. What if I told you that the mastermind behind SB19's greatest hits once doubted if he had what it takes? That the lyrical genius, who now leads a P-pop revolution, once questioned his own voice? Today, we expose not a scandal, but a story more powerful: Pablo's genius, discipline, and the quiet storm that fuels SB19's success. Stay until the end to uncover the truth about the man behind the music, how he turns silence into songs and self-doubt into global anthems. If you like this type of stories, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Behind every great anthem lies a mind that dares to feel deeply, think critically, and speak truthfully. For SB19, that mind belongs to John Paulo Nace, better known to the world as Pablo. He's not just a vocalist, not just a leader. He's the brain behind the bars, the pen behind the passion, and the soul behind every SB19 track that resonates with millions. But Pablo's story doesn't start with spotlight and screaming fans. It starts with uncertainty. Long before the accolades, he was just a quiet dreamer from Imus Cavite, someone with lyrics in his heart and questions in his mind. He didn't grow up with silver spoons or special connections. What he had was a notebook of vision and an unshakable belief that music could change lives, starting with his own. Before SB19, Pablo wrote in silence. Journals filled with poetry, verses scribbled on tissue paper during bus rides, voice memos of melodies recorded in between jobs. This was his training ground. And yet, he kept asking himself, am I good enough? Will anyone ever hear this? It wasn't talent that got him noticed, it was persistence. When he joined the Korean-style training system under SB19 Philippines, he was pushed to his limits physically, emotionally, mentally. The hours were brutal. Sleep was rare. There was no guarantee of debut. Still, Pablo held on, not because he was sure of success, but because he refused to quit. That's the spirit of discarding Pinoy, finding strength in adversity, and always choosing passion over comfort. When SB19 was finally formed, Pablo took on the role of leader, not by loudness, but by depth. He led through vision. His understanding of music was not just technical, it was emotional. He knew how to turn everyday pain into powerful lyrics, how to translate heartbreak, hope, and hunger into songs that move mountains. Take Go Up, for example. This wasn't just a comeback single. It was a resurrection. The group was ready to give up, but Pablo poured every ounce of frustration, prayer, and persistence into that track. Di na ko babalik, di na, he wrote, not just for SB19, but for every Filipino who's ever been counted out and kept going. His process is raw and real. Pablo doesn't write to impress. He writes to express. His creative process involves listening, first to himself, then to the world. He doesn't force lyrics, he waits for truth. He finds rhythm in silence, poetry in pain. That's why every SB19 song sounds like a diary entry from the heart of the Filipino soul, because it is. From Hanggang Sa Huli to What, Pablo has tackled themes most boy bands wouldn't dare touch: identity, mental health, personal growth, national pride. And he does it with language that's unapologetically Filipino, deeply intelligent, and emotionally honest. He once said in an interview, Hindi ko, nagsusulat para lang sa trend. Gusto ko, bawat salita may lalim. That's Pablo's genius, writing not for likes but for legacy. What sets him apart is not just his lyricism, but his leadership. As SB19 rose to global recognition, Pablo didn't change to fit the fame. He stayed grounded, always reminding his members about their mission, to inspire, to uplift, and to represent the Filipino identity with pride. He leads with humility, knowing that true leadership is about listening more than speaking, serving more than shining. Even now, with millions of followers and sold-out concerts, Pablo remains that same soft-spoken creative who values authenticity above everything. He still spends hours fine-tuning lyrics, challenging himself, and pushing boundaries. He still treats music not as a job, but as a calling. Many think genius means effortless brilliance, but Pablo proves it's the opposite. Genius is discipline. It's rewriting the same chorus 10 times until it's perfect. It's staying awake until dawn, chasing a melody that only lives in your head. It's choosing purpose over popularity. And yet, through it all, he stays quiet about his own greatness. That's why this story had to be told. Not to put him on a pedestal, but to show every aspiring artist, every Filipino dreamer, that greatness can come from within, even if the world doesn't see it right away. Pablo's genius isn't just in his lyrics, it's in his journey. It's in the way he turned doubt into drive. It's in the way he writes not just for today, but for tomorrow's generation. It's in the way he remains a student of life, constantly learning, evolving, and creating. His story reminds us that the most powerful songs are not the ones that rise on charts, but the ones that rise from truth. That's what we're exposing today. Not a secret, but a blueprint. Pablo's genius is not something you're born with. It's something you build with courage, hard work, and heart. In a world that often rewards noise, Pablo stands as proof that quiet determination and deep passion can change everything. His music uplifts, his leadership inspires, and his values reflect the core of what makes us proud to be Filipino. Sipag, Tiaga, Malasakit sa Kapwa, at Pagmamahal sa Saraling Bayan. Through Pablo, we are reminded that success is not just about talent. It's about integrity, purpose, and hard-earned progress. Pablo's story is still being written, one lyric at a time. And now we turn to you. What part of his journey inspired you the most? What truths did you see in his story that reflect your own? Share your thoughts, and let's celebrate not just the music, but the mind behind it.